The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network. You're listening to Around the Galaxy.
This is Pete Fletzer. On this episode of Around the Galaxy, we spent time with Charlie Benante, drummer for heavy metal legends Anthrax. Join us as we talk about suiting up for the 501st, Star Wars collecting, and the metal Star Wars connection. So strap yourselves in, mosh it up, and enjoy this journey around the galaxy.
D&D player, board game player.
We're having a roast.
Why we're here?
That's all good.
I'm in New Orleans, where kind of
an hour and a
Welcome to episode number 71 of Around the Galaxy, the Star Wars fan talk show. I am your host, Pete Fletzer, and we are a part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network. Well, this is a very special episode because I have a very special guest. I am bringing to you a conversation with Charlie Benante. Charlie is the originator of the blast beat. He is the drummer and one of the songwriters for thrash metal icons Anthrax. Now, I've been a fan of Anthrax since I was in high school in the mid-'80s, and I used to listen to albums like Spreading the Disease and Among the Living at ear-shredding levels in my best friend Mike's car on the way to school and on the way home every day. And then at college, we moshed around to State of Euphoria and Persistence of Time, and when I think about it, really, Anthrax has been kind of the soundtrack of my misspent youth. So when I learned that Charlie was not only a Star Wars fan, but a card-carrying member of the Stormtrooper 501st Cosplay Legion, I knew I had to talk to him about Star Wars. So in between recording quarantine compilation music videos with metal giants and selling his dark matter coffee and preparing a new Anthrax album and rolling out a special edition of Persistence of Time and unleashing a new whiskey, Charlie found some time to hop on the phone and geek out about Star Wars with me. So when you speak to one of your musical heroes, you don't ask them to watch their language. So be warned, if you're checking this episode out with your kids, it is an uncensored episode. So if you have an aversion to F-bombs, this one may not be for you. If this is your first visit with Around the Galaxy, thank you so much for checking us out. And please subscribe to the show wherever you're listening. Follow us on Twitter at ATGcast. And check out all the latest in Star Wars news, interviews, collecting, and conversation at BeyondTheBlastDoors.com. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring you a conversation with the legendary Charlie Benante.
Charlie, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you.
You know, it's I'm not going to lie. I think the reason I ended up getting into Anthrax is because I saw Stormtroopers of Death, and I thought for sure it was a Star Wars reference. And then I became a huge Anthrax fan. Like every kid, you know, in the New Jersey tri-state area in the 80s and 90s, I became a musician, and I was a huge Anthrax and Megadeth and Metallica fan. So this is a real pleasure to talk to you. This is great.
It's cool. Good to know this.
Yeah. So you're an entertainment fan. Like you were part of the Jaws commentary, and you and Scotty are like big into Walking Dead. And so tell me, when did you become a Star Wars fan? Was that sort of your gateway into entertainment fandom?
No, it was before that. I mean, when I was younger, I was into like just a lot of horror movies, and you know, my mom got me a subscription to Famous Monsters when I was really young, and that was it. I mean, I would say my first horror movie it's like I have these flashbacks because I have 4 older sisters, and they would always watch these type of movies like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and King Kong, and I remember being really young and seeing King Kong and asking my mom to get me a camera when I was younger so I could do like stop motion animation, and I would make these films of doing things like that. And so I was always into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then as Star Wars hit you at you were sort of the prime age. You and I think are in a similar age bracket, so it hit you right at the right time.
At the right age. And I'll never forget, I tell this story all the time to my friends. The first week, like Star Wars was out, or maybe even the second week, I don't remember what it was, but I used to be big, like before 4th of July, me and my friends would always get fireworks and shoot them off. And this one time, something blew up right in my face, and my eye was all fucking. It was a mess, dude. I had to wear a patch for a bit. We went to see Star Wars that night because I said, no, I'm going. We have to go. And I went to see Star Wars with a fucking huge thing on my eye.
Oh, wow. Oh man. Yeah. I didn't see it until later on in the summer, but so you were there like right when you grew up in New York, right? So it was,
yeah, I grew up in New York. Yeah. And we went and stood online, and, it was an event, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing how it's kind of stuck with people. I mean, I was just thinking the other day, we're 43 years after that movie came out, and it's still as big. I mean, for goodness sake, I'm doing a freaking podcast and about Star Wars 43 years later. Is it still a big part of your life? I know you're part of the 501st. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved in that.
You know, that was something that I've always posted things about Star Wars, how much I love it, and just different aspects of that movie. And I've always been a collector of the toys. And I mean, you know, it's just the whole thing about Star Wars in general. There's a story there that I think resonates with people. And, you know, for me, it may sound cliche, but I grew up without my dad. My dad passed away when I was 5. Mm. I kind of, I don't know, somehow related to the story a bit, you know, and the characters, and it was almost like a Wizard of Oz dream, you know?
Yeah. And so did you, how did you feel when the, sort of like the prequel time and in that dark time, were you a fan of the prequels at all? Did it stick with you that long, or?
So I was really excited for the first one,
right?
You know, and I remember like it was yesterday, walking out of there going, oh, I don't even know what the hell I just saw. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, you know, you weren't alone. I was working with Lucasfilm at that time, and I was at the premiere in New York City, and I walked out, and it was a premiere full of celebrities, you know, full of people, an A-list group of people, and everybody kind of walked out kind of quiet. And it was interesting how people who were so into it as kids, that sort of gap, it kind of came back, and it was people weren't 100% thrilled with it. But I do know that you're a fan of the Mandalorian. I saw you mention, I think it was on Blabbermouth, that you're a big fan of Mandalorian. So do you feel like it's starting to recatch hold, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the thing that I loved, so don't get me wrong, there's moments of the movies that have come out since that I liked, and there's moments that I didn't like. But I will say this, Rogue One was the best Star Wars movie since Empire. I said that as soon as I saw that movie. We went the first night. It was actually a preview of it that we went to see, me and my friends, because we were all excited about it. And we walked out of there fucking like all happy. Like, now see, that's what a Star Wars movie should be.
Yeah.
It's not just made for, 9, 11-year-olds. They should, because the gap of a Star Wars fan is so broad nowadays. So
yeah.
you cannot appeal to just one aspect of it anymore. You have to appeal to a wider range of, demographics.
That's a great point. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, the movies still have that sort of underlying thing, and I think that's one of the cool things about what Disney has done in a way is that my son, he's 7 years old, and he's into Clone Wars TV show, which took me years and years to get into it, but like you said, we've now grown up, and there's a different type of film that we want to see as adults than we did when we were 7, 10, 15 years old. So
exactly. And the greatest thing that for me is when they started releasing some of these movies. I have my daughter. So she was, how old was she? Like maybe 9 when we went to see Rogue One, and the thing, and also the other Star Wars movies that have come out. So what I had to do is not look at this movie through my eyes, but also look through her eyes for this movie.
Yep.
So, because that to me was something that people weren't doing anymore. They were just going, oh, this better be, for me, and it's like, well, look, I don't think you're going to get that because, like I said, you're going to have to see it through different eyes to appreciate all aspects of it. But that being said, Rogue One was awesome. I love the Han Solo movie, and then of course I love the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian to me is made from people who fucking love Star Wars, and they don't want to do a bad, job on it, and they want to make the people who love little Easter eggs go, yes, things like that.
Yep, that's totally true. You can definitely sense that it's like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have opened up their toy chest. They ran into their room, they pulled it like when we were kids, dumped them on the floor, and just had a blast with them, and just pulled it out, and are creating stories that you love and that I love, and that's pretty wild that they're able to.
I knew it. I knew it. Once they put Dave on that team, I said, "Wow, now it's probably going to be heavy." You know what I mean? It's like it's not just going to be a Disney-made Star Wars thing. You know what I mean? There's going to be substance to this, and it was. I mean, everything about it, man. The fucking Nick Nolte. I mean, it was just great. Now,
were you a fan of Rebels and Clone Wars?
So I was not into that much, but that's not because of what it was, just because I didn't have time for it.
Right. Yeah. No, it's I think Dave Filoni is probably one of the most underrated writers and creators, not just in Star Wars, but he's not getting that sort of credit. And I agree with you. As soon as I heard that Filoni was a part of it, I felt really, really positive about it. So
yeah, exactly. And my friend Brian was in the first episode, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, what part was he?
Brian Posehn. He played. He was on the land, not the land speeder. The
yeah, it was like the
was it the land speeder? It was freezing, and he.
Yep.
So that's my friend. Yeah, that's Brian Posehn.
That's cool. He's hilarious too, by the way. He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
And again, that's one of those sort of things that I think is really cool about what they're doing with the Mandalorian is they're putting in people who care about it, not just the creators, but the people who care about it. Because I know he's a metalhead and a nerd, so it's a good combination.
That's what I mean about Easter eggs. They just put things like that in there, and it's like yes, because I know Brian's a fucking huge Star Wars fan too.
Yeah, he's and he's great. So there's a connection between, and I want to get your opinion. So first of all, like I said, I want to be a musician like everybody in a way. So I'm a huge Rush fan, and I'm a huge metal fan, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I know you and the rest of the guys in Anthrax are big Rush fans, and I've seen the videos you've done, with you and Alex, and just putting that together. But I've always kind of wondered, and I'd love your thoughts on it. What's the connection between Star Wars and metal? Because I can't tell you how many Star Wars fans I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, and we all have that same sort of musical interest, and then maybe even a connection to Rush, if you can find some sort of connective tissue there.
I don't know how I'm going to do the Rush connection, but there's a way in there that I understand that where that connection is. I just don't know how to place it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, so many different things, but I think the connection to metal, at least, is something in the imagery, something in the lyrics, because, we all like to write about fantasy and what, some of my favorite movies deal with, science fiction, from like Star Wars to The Thing, Aliens, it's like all that stuff. It's very interesting to me, and it's almost inspiring for some reason to write about it or get motivated to write music from it. One of the greatest weeks I've ever had in the history of this band was spending a week with John Carpenter writing music for his movie. Every day to me was like a question and answer day. You know what I mean? It's like, so at the end of the movie, is McCready? Is he infected?
Yep.
Or know, things like that. But it was one of the greatest weeks I ever spent. And John is an awesome composer. I mean, just think about certain things. The Halloween theme is so amazing.
Yep.
I don't think he did the Thing theme. I think that was Ennio Morricone. But John is just such a great composer and director as well. And I think I lost my track here.
No, but I think you may be going down a road that I've kind of, the connection where I've kind of thought about it sometimes is because when Star Wars came out, our only connection to the movie other than going to see the movie was either the Story of Star Wars LP or John Williams' soundtrack, right? And John Williams' soundtrack has elements that are sort of that percussive, that sound that you get when you're writing a heavier song, right? Like I always think of Ben's Death and TIE Fighter Attack, that song, that piece of music where you know, like that stuck with me. And I think that's what, when I started to hear heavier rock, I feel like there might be some connection there. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think I think there might be something to that as well.
Well, I think there may be something to John Williams in general of the way he composes. I mean, the theme from Jaws probably has the most heaviest part that I've ever heard in a movie, and it's only really 2 notes.
Yep.
So when you think of John Williams and what he brings to those movies, Jaws is only half the movie without the music. You know,
100%. Yep.
Star Wars may be half the movie without the music, because who the fuck is gonna, you know, that Imperial March? I mean, all these things. You know, when Darth Vader comes on screen and you hear that music, it's just like it's such a marriage that how the hell did he do that? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and maybe that's the inspiration. You know, that's if you can't make movies, or you're not going to, that's something that you can do and you can connect to. That's pretty wild. So I see a lot of Funkos in your Watch the Beat videos. You just see one in the back. What's your favorite type of thing to collect?
I collect certain things. I drank the Funko Kool-Aid a couple of years back, and it's like, it's impossible to have every fucking Star Wars pop there is. It's just impossible because there's too many variations. It's just too many, dude. And it's like that in itself is, because like I'm a completist, but there's no way I can complete that. It's impossible. But I do, like with every video that I do, I try and place a different one there. Yeah. Just like an Easter egg, you know what I mean? Like, which one is that, you know? But I love those fucking things. I just love them.
Yeah, but I'm addicted to them as well. So I made the mistake of counting up how many I had one day, and I got a little bit depressed. a fellow podcaster, she calls them special. Was precious moments for nerds, but they're so easy to collect, right?
Because once you go down that rabbit hole, you're not coming out. And
exactly, yeah.
I have about a year or 2 ago, they came out with an app for your phone that you could put all your collection in. And if you do that, you'll also see how much money you spent.
And you'll question your life choices.
You will question, what the hell am I?
Yeah, we call it going down the funk hole. It's so true. And it's so easy to collect. And every time you turn around, there's something new with them. That's really funny.
I just got this, because for the longest time I've been waiting for the Child to come out, and I ordered it like maybe back in January or December.
Yep.
Because I felt, wow, they totally didn't know this was going to happen. Yep. They missed the boat on that, like completely. Like there was when that shit happened and people were looking for stuff, there was nothing to find on him.
Yep.
Which I was like, well, someone got fired over that. But it's such a great dude. When that thing first appeared on that episode, I can't tell you how like emotional it was. I was just like, what the hell is this? You're like, where is this going?
Yep. Yeah. And I think that was one of the things that blew my mind too, is first of all, amazing that it wasn't leaked, right? If that was one of those few moments I've ever sat, and I said it very recently, that there's been a handful of moments in entertainment, never mind Star Wars, never mind whatever, where I've been at a loss for words and gasped out loud when I saw something. And when that child peeked over that blanket, I was all in. I couldn't believe it. And you're right. It's amazing the impact it's had too. I mean, there's people who don't even know what Star Wars is, but they know what Baby Yoda is.
They know it exactly. And you have to be careful of calling it Baby Yoda. Right. You got to call it the child, or you got to, so, but the thing about the Mandalorian that was so cool was just the mystique about it,
Yep.
And nobody blew it. And every episode would come and you'd be like, oh shit, this is fucking awesome, Yep. And I can't wait to see where it goes, because I'm hoping it goes to another level. And I'm trying not to read anything.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to stay away from that stuff. So now, what are your there's sort of a split sort of perspective on doing it week to week or dropping it all at once. Where do you come down on that?
I like the thing that they did with Stranger Things. You could just watch when you want,
right,
and you don't have to wait. I think I would probably want them all at once.
Yeah. There's benefits to and downfalls to both, I think, and it's so. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, there's days where I would just love to. I wish I could have just gotten it all at once. I would have just killed an entire day with it. But there is also that benefit of that kind of, then when they leave you hanging at the end, when they were done with that first episode, you were hooked. I mean, you were in no matter what at that point, right?
Right. And I the thing about the Mandalorian where. Yeah, I probably would want them all at once, but I don't know if I'd watch them all at once because I'd want to digest it a bit. Mm-hmm. And I do like, after an episode appears, you will see something that people talk about, and I don't know. It also helps you to look forward to something in the coming weeks. So
yeah,
I guess I'm split on it.
Yeah, I am too, and so it's not a super fair question. So Anthrax did a ton of songs based on comic books and Stephen King, but you never did a Star Wars song. How did you miss that one? It just didn't feel like the right fit, or
it just never happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to do a song about Greedo or something, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know why it's never come out. I mean, I've always been kind of a closet Star Wars fan up until, maybe 15, 20 years ago. Right. But, I mean, I would go to fucking Toys R Us with a friend of mine. Actually, do you remember there was a magazine out? It was called Toy Fair? I believe it was called Toy Fair.
Yeah.
And they used to do this thing on the back page, like they would pick someone like to do like a little description of your collection and, a story. And I had this story that we were in Star Wars and they were just putting out the first prequel. That's what it was, the toys for it. And this dude was there with a shopping cart and he took all of them. And we were just like, what the fuck? We didn't even get to look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I told a story about it, how my friend went and got the manager and I'm like, dude, if we even wanted to buy one of these, we couldn't. This guy just took all of them and left the shitty ones, So the manager's like, sir, why do you, why? Oh, this is for my family. And he was bullshit. He was a dealer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just, so even today it works that way with, like, if somebody's going to offer something online before you actually get it, the dealer's got it or the bot's got it.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think that's one of the challenges with collecting. And I guess that's kind of one of the good things about, maybe that's why Funko Pops have become something that I just end up doing, because it used to be you could only find them in some places, but now if you're walking through a Target or your GameStop or wherever, they're showing up, and they're hard to miss. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. So so you got you got the 30th anniversary of Persistence of Time hitting in August. Is that right?
Yeah, August 23rd, I believe it drops.
I can't believe that album is 30 years old. How is that? That blows me away. That was Persistence of Time and State of Euphoria were my college soundtrack, and so I can't believe it's been that long. So what's going to be special about the 30th anniversary?
The actual record is remastered, and it sounds so good. It's so everything that was lacking throughout the years now has been recaptured. So all of the low end, the punch, the highs and everything, it's all recaptured the way it should always be. It just sounds awesome. Then there's a bunch of bonus stuff on it, like songs that started from a riff and then it goes into like a rehearsal and then it goes into like tracking it, and then it's just like the kind of evolution of some of the songs. And there's some live stuff on it. There's some guide vocal tracks that Scott would do a guide vocal for some, and then there's a whole video of like us writing it and demoing it and footage from like us with Iron Maiden on tour. It's great. It's really great. And then the front cover is a different cover. It's the original idea that I had with the melting clock.
Awesome. That's good. That's cool. So August 23rd, we'll have to be on the lookout for that. That's
Yeah.
You may fire when ready.
good. So I have a section of my show here where it's 10 questions, and they're all Star Wars related, and there's no wrong answers, but it's a lot of fun. So let me throw them at you if you don't mind. So all right.
And are they one word answers or
no? You can go off on them, or you can give me one. Some are one word, some are you just go off, have some fun with it if you like, or you can just do it quick. It's all good.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So what is your favorite Star Wars movie, TV show, or book?
I'd probably say Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's a lot of people say it, and they probably say it for a reason, right? It's just
It's always been that way, though. I mean, look, I can't discard the first one because the first one is the first one that really, kind of caught you by surprise because you didn't know it. I mean, the one thing I'll always say that I remember about seeing that movie in the theater at that time when I was younger was when that first ship comes over the screen and the rumble and everything. It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And so as far as that goes, I would have to say it's still Empire, but that first movie was close.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes Empire so great for people who are fans of the original trilogy more so than the other trilogies is I think Empire was the first one that you really looked forward to. Like, we had no idea that Star Wars was going to be what it was, but Empire was suddenly, there was that we were looking forward to it. So it built that up. And then it turns out to be just a great movie on top of everything.
Yeah, because I think maybe the direction.
Yep. All right. So what's your least favorite Star Wars movie, TV show, or book?
I'd have to say the prequels all in one.
Totally fair. And it's interesting. I drifted past it when you were talking about it, but you're 100% right about watching the films now through your kids' eyes, because I think if I had younger kids and went to see the prequels, I might have appreciated them differently. But I was at a quote unquote more mature age, so my expectation was that Star Wars was going to age with me. But that movie, my kids, they don't have an issue with the prequels, but they, it's I think they're still a little bit. They're still my least. If I had to pick of the three trilogies, it would be my least favorite of the trilogies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's fair. So would you consider yourself a rebel or an Imperial?
Ooh, that's a good one. man, I mean, I love the Stormtroopers, so I'd have to say, yeah, the Imperial.
Do you ever go out and troop with the 501st?
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Did anybody know it was you, or did you just kind of love that?
Nobody knew it was me. I wanted to do it again, and I probably will do it again once maybe we get back to some normalcy.
Yeah. It's so much fun. You're in the Chicago area. Did you go to Star Wars Celebration?
Yeah, I was there.
You were.
And I've been to 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The one in Anaheim, the one I was in Orlando, and then the one here. But the one that I suited up for was I think it was a C2E2 show.
Okay. Yep. That's pretty cool. I heard you talking about it somewhere, and I still I'm itching to get a set of Stormtrooper armor. I think every kid from the 70s and 80s has always wanted, and today probably too, but just want that suit of armor. That's all I want. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I suited up last Halloween for it. Me and my girlfriend, she put on the Leia stuff, and I was the Stormtrooper. And I posted a picture, and of course, someone had to critique it. Your belt is blah blah. I was like,
that's pretty. There's the experts out there, and they're going to let you know. Yeah. Your favorite droid, R2-3PO or BB-8?
My favorite droid, I love R2-D2. I must say, I love C-3PO. I love the. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of the one in Rogue One.
K2SO. I love him. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. I love that droid. The Bounty Hunter and the Mandalorian was an awesome droid as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to go with R2.
Yeah. The classic. Can't go wrong with R2, right?
No.
All right. What's your favorite Star Wars sound effect?
I'm going to say the lightsaber.
Totally cool. That's cool. What did you think of Kylo Ren's sound of his lightsaber? The fact that it had its own sort of...
I don't like Kylo Ren.
You don't?
I don't.
Why not? Just curious.
I don't.
There's no.
I just don't. I never. As soon as I saw it, I just don't care for it. Didn't have the same vibe as a Darth Vader did, where you feared him. I just thought it was some kid playing dress up, and I just didn't care for it. I think they definitely missed the mark on that one.
Totally fair. Again, what vehicle or spaceship from the Star Wars universe would you most like to own?
I love the TIE Fighter. I thought it was so fucking cool. I mean, everybody's going to pick the Millennium Falcon just because it's the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
It's cool, but it's like the fucking El Dorado of fucking space. It's just big. Guzzles a lot of gas and whatever. But, yeah, man, I just, I like the TIE Fighters. They look cool.
The TIE Fighters look cool and they sound amazing.
It's
just
it's fucking awesome.
Of these three, which is your favorite? A Porg, an Ewok, or Jar Jar Binks?
Oh, Jesus.
Even though you're on the phone, I can see
I'm going to go with Ewok.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And we'll just let that one die. If you could be any character in Star Wars, who would it be and why?
Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewie. Why?
Oh, you live forever. I mean, it may be kind of hot, but you don't even know it's hot because that's just the way you are. You're tall. Everybody fears you because you got the height and you could just fuck people up. And yeah, you live a long time.
That's cool. I like that. What did you think of the Chewie Han intro story in Solo?
I loved it.
Yeah. I think that's one of those movies. There's a whole online movement. I don't know if you've seen it, for Make Solo 2 happen. I would love.
Oh, dude, I hope they do.
Yeah, I would love to see that, and even if it's a Disney Plus series or another film.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep that petition going. Of all the stuff in your Star Wars collection, what's your favorite toy or collectible in your collection?
Oh, I have so much that I have to really think about. I have, wow, that I don't know if it's that one, but I mean, I have some of the older Kenner toys that, if I look at them today, I'm like, it's kind of cheesy, but at the time, it was really cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But this is a good question, man. You got me thinking a bit. Oh, you know what I got a while back? I got one of those Jabba sail barges.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
Yeah. It's still in the box.
That's awesome. There's friends of mine on my network here that they did a video of an unboxing of that, and that's an amazing. You can't even call it a toy.
It's furniture.
Yeah, it's furniture. It's true. It's true. And lastly, last question on this list is: what is your favorite Star Wars quote?
Always, may the Force be with you, because it says so much.
Yeah.
Like even nowadays, it's like if somebody can't do something, it's just like, dude, just use the Force.
It's a great quote, and it's surprisingly not a lot of my guests have selected that, but I think that's got to be the quote. It's said by everybody. It's able to be told and said in different ways, and so that's a
it means different things at different times. Like I always say those 70s movies gave us such great quotes, like, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Mm-hmm.
And The Exorcist has such crazy quotes, but anyway, but yeah, I would say, may the Force be with you.
That's great. Cool. So before I let you go, tell me a little bit. You're talking about coffee a lot, man. So you're selling coffee called Dark Matter now, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been doing coffee for about, maybe close to 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I started to do it really independently. And about 5 years ago, a coffee company out of Chicago called Dark Matter, we had some mutual friends, and we just met up, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to do the coffee with you. So I brought the blends that I had to them, and then they kind of refined it. And yeah, I've just been doing it since then, and I love it. It's a passion.
That's cool. So between Dark Matter and the bourbon, you guys are like, hey, you're filling my cups on both sides of the day, because you have this signature bourbon, right? That's coming out.
We have beer.
You got beer. You're killing me. You're bringing all the vices out, which is really important.
Got to do it.
You got to do it. It's cool. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for spending some time. This is really great. It's always, it's so cool to have the opportunity to talk to a guy who I've listened to for now that I still can't believe persistence time is 30 years, which means I've been listening to you for 35 years or more. And it's cool to find out that you're such a huge Star Wars fan. And maybe if I get the chance, I'd love to have you on again sometime. Where can people follow you and find, you got so many great videos on your YouTube channel. What's the best place to find you guys?
I mean, you could go to the YouTube channel. There's my website. It's just charliebenante.com. And then, on Instagram, I'm at Benante. So I'm everywhere.
He's everywhere. Awesome. Well, cool. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate it.
For over 40 years, Star Wars has been a part of our culture, a part of our lives, and a part of who we are. Now there's one place with something for every type of Star Wars fan: the Beyond the Blast Doors Network. From the latest in Star Wars news,
a great day, an exciting day here on the YouTube channel,
to collectibles.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, what do you
beautiful.
How much you want for it?
Interviews with creators.
If you want your book to feel necessary, it has to deliver some insight or some piece of information that you didn't get anywhere else.
Famous fans.
Yeah, and it's like all there's a yeah. That's great.
Fan documentaries.
This moment, like the Force awakened in Rey, but it also awakened something in me.
And great conversation with casual and hardcore fans alike.
You know, I've seen a lot of things end up on the cutting room floor that I'm like, oh.
The Beyond the Blast Doors Network was made for you. New content nearly every day of the week on video and podcast. There's something for every fan. Visit BeyondTheBlastDoors.com and on YouTube search Beyond the Blast Doors.